Okay, how many of you guys read The Settler each week? Okay, as the assistant editor of The Settler, I'd like to share with you some of the process for how we put the paper out each week. My editor, Amy Webb, and I, along with the class full of writers and photographers, worked very hard on it. And the first thing that we do is come up with relevant news stories to use. The way we do that is we walk around campus and check out the bulletin boards to see what clubs and organizations have posted. We also get emails from people wanting us to cover their event. We also talk with some of the faculty members to see what some of the campus gossip is. And we also get some story ideas from our advisor, Clay Scott. And once we have a pretty good pool of stories going, we assign them to our writers based on the writer's skill and whether or not they've been turning their stories in on time. If we do get a late story, we end up having to turn the paper in late so that we can rewrite them, and it's not a good experience. We also make ourselves available to help the writers with their stories. We put our contact information on the board so that it's available to them and they can make sure that they get all of their quotes right and everything's in the right format. And on our first meeting, our advisor, Clay Scott, gives them some tips. One of the big ones he gives them is the 5 W's and an H, and that's who, what, where, when, why, and how. And this is to make sure that they have all of their information covered in their article so that the reader isn't left with questions about when the event takes place or what the person did. And his other big one is when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, and it's a tongue-in-cheek way of saying check your facts. This way we don't have people written about and their names spelled wrong, and we have correct information, and that basically saves our credibility as a publication, and it keeps people that we interview from getting upset. And once the stories are written, the writers upload them to a website called collegepublisher.com, and from there Amy and I are able to print them off and copy edit them, and we check them for things like AP style, which is Associated Press style, and it's the basic journalism format. And we also do the fact checking, and we make sure that the stories are not opinion based, unless it's an entertainment article, and that's okay. And once they're done being edited, we can begin the layout process. And to do this, we put them in a program called InDesign, and we are able to lay them out in the format that they will be seen in the newspaper. And we decide where we want the stories to go, and we get them placed in there along with the pictures that correspond to them. But before we can put the pictures in, we have to upload them into Photoshop. We have to lighten them a lot because when they're printed on the newspaper, they will be much darker, and we also have to resize them. And once those are placed, we can also place our advertisements, which we sell every week, and this allows us to fill more space as well as advertise local businesses. And once these are all placed, we basically have our finished product, but we still have to print it off one last time so that we can do one last check for errors. We do actually find quite a few at this point, and we can get those fixed. And once we have that done, we can send the paper to our printers, which are the Lebanon Democrat, and they get it printed for us by, we have to have it turned in by 6 o'clock every Sunday. And as long as all of our stories are in and we don't have to call them for an extension, we get that turned in and they have it printed and it's picked up in the morning, and our editor, Amy, usually is the one who distributes it all around campus, and bins mark The Settler so that they're open to students. And then 12 o'clock on Monday, we have our meeting again to start the whole process over. So that's about the whole process, and yeah, that's it. So thank you, folks, and pick up The Settler.